Get it out of here. You didn't get it out of here. You in there. He thought he was getting a big room. Look at it. Noise, huh? Hey friends, welcome back to the Touch Grass Chronicles, where the goal is for my son and I to get outside of our house more, which is wild for me to say because I love being in the house, but my mental health doesn't love it for extended periods of time. Also, my son partly depends on me to ensure that he's also touching grass, as the kids say, or getting outside the house. And fun fact about my son, he's a social butterfly. He loves outside the house. He loves going into the out. He actually can't stand being in the house. So with that being said, I knew I had to do something. So we started this Chronicles, and this time I booked us a little vacation to go to Kannapolis, North Carolina for a charity autism walk. We were invited, and because it was about a 4-hour and 45-minute, maybe let's say a 5-hour drive almost away, I thought it would be a good idea to make this a weekend vacation so that we can get out the house for a whole weekend. So the fun started with, like I said, 4-hour and 40-minute drive. Before they hump from a road, I'm prophetic. They only talk about it, how I get it. Only good for saving face. And the drive actually wasn't that bad. I actually love a road trip. I love driving, although I did have to stop quite a few times to get out and stretch my body because I have fibromyalgia. If I drive for a long time, my joints, they kind of just lock up. Sometimes they start hurting. It's no telling. And then the rest of my day is just not good. So I already knew that. Self-aware, Shay. Good job, girl. I already knew that. So we did quite a few stops just for me to stretch. And then, not to mention, my son drank all of the Gatorade that I had packed in his lunchbox for the trip. Packed him like, I think 2 or 3. Yeah, I packed him 3. And he drank it in the car within the first hour. Thirsty, I guess. But needless to say, there were a lot of restroom breaks as well. And then I also realized that I had forgotten my bonnet at home and I was too far away to go back and turn around for it. So one of the stops we did was Food Line to use the restroom, both of us, and for me to get a bonnet and some snacks. Because I packed us a bunch of food, a bunch of fresh fruit and some pickled vegetables and some boiled eggs and a lot of stuff that we wouldn't really have to worry about food on the way there. But I forgot to pack like other stuff like protein stuffs, the nuts and hummus and etc. The protein stuff you're supposed to eat with the fruit. Okay, I got to pack all that. And then I also forgot to get Ste'ce like some beef jerky. He loved beef jerky on the road. That's his favorite thing anyways. So we got that, the road snacks, the bonnet, and of course my son, while waiting in Food Line, decided that he needed to buy a 4,000 pack of toothpicks. And not any pack, a specific pack that is only at certain stores. And you guessed it, not at Food Line. Eat something or drink it. Didn't I tell you didn't I tell you Walmart is unavailable? We're not going to Walmart. We on the road, sir. We ain't got time for Walmart. You trying to shop. I'm trying to vacation and you trying to shop. That's not my type of vacation. I don't want it. I don't want it at all. But alas, this pit stop at Walmart was not in the itinerary, so I had to tell him it was unavailable. A few hours later, we stopped at Bojangles for lunch. Get into it, y'all. Get into it. How's yours? Is it delicious? I don't want to hold your trash. I just told you that. After that, we drove on and then reached our destination a little after. I actually don't know what time it is. Probably it was before 5. No, son, bring my bag in here. What you thought? He thought he was getting a big room. Get this out of here. Get it out of here. You didn't get it out of here. You in there. He thought he was getting a big room. Look at it. You noise, huh? Look at it. Come and get your stuff now. Come get your stuff. Because this is not your area. I don't know why you thought you was... I said put the stuff away. He gonna take the big room called dibs. Let's look at your room. See, it's nice in here. What you mean? You want me to sleep in here? Your only mother. Okay. See you later. You can close the door. Bye. After about an hour, after we had both settled in, put everything away, unpacked our food, put it in the fridge, we had both settled in, I realized that I hadn't planned dinner or an activity for that first night. So I looked up some places on the Google and I found this bar. And then I thought about bringing Ste'ce to this bar. I said, should I? Because he is 21, but he's never been to a bar before. He just turned 21. He's just a baby adult, you know. He didn't know anything about that. Of course, I told him about it, but he's never been. And I actually like bars, so it wasn't a problem for me. And I was sure that it wouldn't be a problem for Ste'ce either. He used to have a lot of meltdowns out in public, but it's really gone down significantly. I can't really tell you a one thing that actually I think did it, but I think it's just a combination of the healthy eating he's been doing. He's been getting out and getting exercise, communicating more. He's less frustrated. So I wasn't worried about him having any kind of meltdown or nothing out in the bar. I actually was only just worried about how people would receive his energy. But I said, you know what? We shouldn't worry about that. We're just going to go and see what happens. This was the perfect opportunity for us to have his first experience at a bar. You know, just because my son is autistic does not mean that he may or may not want to enjoy, you know, things that other 21-year-olds enjoy. So I want to always include him in on these things. And besides that, I wanted to go to the bar. I don't go to the bar all the time, but sometimes I'm like, man, I would really love some bar food and some ridiculously strong drinks that they say is just a single and not a double. Sometimes you just want that with your food. Sometimes you just want it and you don't want to make all that stuff. So the bar has it all and it be having music sometimes. So I was like, my son loves music. We're doing it. And this is going to be a good opportunity for me to teach him how to properly adult while you going into the out and perhaps to a bar or a club or whatever. So with that being said, first thing I did after, you know, we showered and got dressed, I ordered us an Uber. Now, I had to remind Ste'ce that too much alcohol, too much beer can make people sick. So it's safer to let friends, aka Uber/Lyft, drive us to where we want to go if we want to go out drinking. He wasn't with it at first because although this wasn't his first Lyft/Uber ride, he hasn't gone on a minute. And he wanted me to drive my car because he loves routine. So I had to explain to him why I couldn't drive my car. And eventually he accepted the fact that we're just not driving our car. When we got there, we sat in the outside patio thing, ordered our food and our drinks. We both had a Philly sandwich with the works, delicious. And I had a tequila sunrise for a drink and Ste'ce had a watermelon margarita. So we eating our food, sipping our drinks, having a good old time, chatting the back and forth. And people start walking in with instruments and start setting them up. And I'm like, wait a minute now, is y'all about to play? And then I asked one of the band members, I said, what are you guys about to play? And he goes, R&B and jazz. These are both music genres that Ste'ce and I love. I say, thank you, universe, because what are the odds that the day we decide to go for the first time out to a bar, that there's a live band? So I'm like, this is great. We can definitely see if this is the type of vibe that Ste'ce likes, if he would be okay in this environment, and see if he likes live music. Because I know he loves music. We all do. We've seen him. But do he like live music? Is he like me? Because I love live music. How about you? So the band started playing. And when I tell y'all, my son had a time. Everything will be alright in the troubles of life. When you die. Very, very, very happy that I brought him with me to this bar experience. And special shout out to the band. They were great. I don't remember their name. And I meant to get a video of their little board because they had a board set up, but I forgot. But shout out to that band. They were the best. They were really good. And not to mention that they did not seem to care that Ste'ce was stimming wildly. He was stimming wildly. This is the hypest stimming I've ever seen him do in a long time. He used to have very hyper stems when he was little, but now that he's grown up, his stems are very, minimal. They're not, you know what I'm saying? They don't do too much, okay? They don't use up a lot of energy. But when that band started playing, I can't even talk. I'm so excited. That band started playing, them stems was going crazy. Sometimes when someone is stimming out in public and somebody doesn't understand, they get a little uncomfortable. But the reason why I say shout out to the band is because nobody seemed to flinch. Nobody cared. They were actually kind of smiling. And I feel that they loved that he was enjoying the music in that way. I feel like they loved it. So shout out to the band and shout out to our server. She was so nice, so patient. While I was talking back and forth with Ste'ce, she noticed that I was helping Ste'ce with his tablet. And so she started, slowing down when she was, waiting for his response. Like she would just patiently wait is what I'm trying to say. She would ask him something and just patiently wait for his response because she knew he was going to be using his tablet. And I appreciate that. And shout out to the bartender because I don't know if they not measuring the alcohol or why when they make the fruity drinks, but I tasted more alcohol than fruity drink is the only way I can explain it. There was more alcohol than the fruity drink. And I also tasted my son's drink just because I wanted to see if it was just as strong as mine, and it was. Okay? So, shout out to them. They were like, y'all getting drizzy tonight, okay? You tried to get me, but you can't because I'm a vet. I'm an OG, triple OG. So I think I had 4 drinks actually. And I don't recall having a hangover or anything like that. I did feel a little tipsy by the end of the night, but nothing too major. And plus, I didn't drive, so who cares? My son, he had 2. I had to cut them off just because they were so strong. I was like, there's no way. I was like, you're going to have to switch to beer or something else, or like a White Claw. He loved White Claw. So I was like, you could switch to something like that. But he was like, no, I don't want Pepsi. So I was like, that's fine with me. Switch to soda. That's fine. Perfect. Adulting level 10. You see what I'm saying? Adulting level 10. But anyways, after that, we went back to the Airbnb and I sat on the back porch for hours listening to music. I love a patio situation. What'd he say? I wanna bet you out. The next morning, we went to the Kannapolis Stadium for the 1.4 mile walk and festivities. What a nice day for this walking stuff. What a great day. Sun's out, lots of shade inside. My son is way up there. I think he's just following the crowd, so that's cool. Can't even see him. I think let's see what he do. Interesting. I knew it. While we were there, before the walk started, we saw a bunch of our social media friends. So, hey, y'all, thanks for stopping, being polite, and being respectful. Then we did our 4 laps, which 4 laps equal 1.4 miles. And of course, Ste'ce had to get his medal. Ooh, we made it. Oh, wait. Come. Oh. Get your medal right here. Right there. They're going to give you one. Yeah. He loves them so much. Thank you. No, you don't get more than one. As you can see, he tried to take 2 because he's greedy. After that, we went inside per Ste'ce's request because they had social stories. So Ste'ce chose where we went next, so we went inside. They had a sensory area at the table. They had coloring stuff set up. You ain't got to answer me. I don't want to. Leave me alone now. Shh. You shush. I mean... I see you. Good job. Ooh, you're doing it. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure these are for kids, but they strong enough for me. Be careful, that's for babies. No, you're fine, buddy. I don't want you to break it. Go ahead. And we just hung out in there for a little bit till we got cooled off. And then we went back outside to get our faces painted at my request. Because I want to heal my inner child. I wanted my face painted. So I told him that we were going there. Pointed to the social story with the little kid getting the face painted. I said, we're going there, but you don't have to get your face painted. Mom is getting my face painted. But if you want to, you can. Okay? I also explained to him that they're going to have to touch your face a lot, but it's not for a long time. So we went over to where they were painting faces. And I went to look through the little picture book that they, show you all the designs that you can get. I was looking through it and I already knew what I wanted. I wanted butterflies. So I was looking for butterflies. And I was telling, the young lady that I was going to get my face painted, and maybe Ste'ce, we don't know, but we're not going to bother him. So she didn't really say anything to him. We were looking through the book and I told her I was looking for butterflies, and she flipped to a page that had the butterflies. And then here comes Ste'ce and put his finger on one of the pictures. And he usually asks for things by pointing at them since he's nonverbal. But he pointed to the picture and I asked him, I said, you want to get your face painted? And he was like, yes. Pointed to that picture again. It was, I think, a Ninja Turtle, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, the red one, Raphael. And we all know he the coolest one. Everybody knows he the coolest one. So I was kind of proud of my son in that moment. So anyways, I was like, okay, I was going to go with here. Have a seat, son. And he did. And he got his face painted for the first time ever. Okay. After that, and we had gotten back to the Airbnb, I realized that I was way too tired for a second night of activity. I did have something planned because Ste'ce asked me even before we left for vacation. He asked me if we could go bowling, and I was like, sure, that's not a problem. We can do that this weekend. So we were going to do that, but I realized I was way too tired. There's no way I was going to survive bowling. I need to rest. I was tired. So instead of going out, we just ordered pizza. I love being flexible like that on vacation. Like, I'm not booking no reservation for no activity that I can't cancel at the last minute and say, I don't want to do this no more. So if you're on vacation with me, don't book no nothing that I can't cancel at the last minute. You're going to be pissed off, because if I feel like I don't want to go at the last minute, I'm not going. I'm not doing it. So instead of going bowling, we just stayed in the Airbnb. I ordered pizza, had some leftover wings from Zaxby's when we ate lunch. BT dubs, we went to Zaxby's. And I sat on a porch for hours again after I ate. And Ste'ce, every time I went to check in on him, he was enjoying his screen time. Let's just say that. His face was in all the screens, the TV, his cell phone. He had YouTube going on the cell phone, YouTube going on the TV. And then his tablet was on, but y'all know his tablet is just for communication device. So he was kind of just looking into it. Every once in a while, he'd be like, bleep, 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 bleep. Y'all know, looking at himself, probably checking out his face paint. He'd be like, and then go back to YouTube on his phone, and then check the YouTube on the TV. And I'm like, what in the multitask? Like, how does he even do that? That's some skill. That's all I'm saying. The next day is really uneventful. It was just the drive home, and there wasn't too much traffic or nothing like that, because I like to drive early. We got up super early. I always get up early. I got up at 6. Ste'ce got up at 8. We left at like 10. I cleaned up and everything, packed up and everything. By 10, we were on the road. And so it was a nice, easy ride. No crazy traffic and nothing like that. It was okay. But very, very windy. 10 a.m. The wind was blowing Subi all over the place. I would try to keep the car straight, and it'd be like, y'all know the feeling? It's crazy. Almost as scary as hydroplaning, I'm trying to tell you. The wind blowing your car, and some parts of the drive were a bit rainy. There was some heavy rain for about 8 to 10 minutes of the drive, but most of that drive, like 75% of the drive, was like drizzling, light to medium rain, most of it. But I'm a pro at driving. Like I said, I'm an OG, triple OG. Like, I've been driving since I was a baby, okay? Of course, I got us home safely with no problems, and we got home around 4 p.m. It was not bad at all for, a little mini vacation in Kannapolis, North Carolina. If I must say so myself, I'm proud of myself. But that's it. And thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time that my son and I touch grass, as they say. Bye.